This unit is Set Up Salesforce Connect. It is the second unit on the Salesforce Connect module, part of the Admin Advanced Trail. My name is Jeff Alhadeff. You're welcome to join me as I work my way through this unit. If I come across anything tricky, I'll link to it in the description below. Otherwise, if you're having a hard time falling asleep and you want to listen to me, then please join me. Okay. Create an external data source in your Salesforce org to specify how to connect to an external system. Validate the connection to the external system. Sync to create external objects that map to the external system's schema. I dislike that word. It gives me night sweats. View the external objects. Setting up external data integration with Salesforce Connect involves these high-level steps. Create the external data source. If your external system hosts multiple services, create an external data source for each service that's required to access the data. Number 2, create the external objects and their fields. Create an external object in your Salesforce org for each external data table you want to access. On each external object, create a custom field for each external table column that you want to access from your Salesforce org. Note, if the external system allows it, we recommend that you sync the external data source to automatically create related external objects. You can instead choose to manually define external objects to customize the external object names and manually create those custom fields. That didn't make any sense to me on first read. On second read, if the external system allows it, we recommend that you sync the external data source to automatically create related external objects. If this is possible, we recommend that you sync after you configure you can instead choose to manually define external objects to customize the external object names. And okay, so if you could sync external data to internally, I don't get it. You could do it manually. Either way, you're doing it manually, you're typing. Define relationships for the external objects. We're moving on. Create lookup. Create lookup, external lookup, and indirect lookup relationship fields to provide a seamless views of data across system boundaries. Enable user access to external objects in their fields. Grant object and field permissions through their permission sets or profiles. Set up user authentication for each external data source that the user that uses pre-user authentication. Do the following. Enable users to authenticate to the external data source. Grant users access through permission sets or profiles. Set up each user's authentication settings. Tell your users how to set up and manage their own authentication systems for external systems and their personal settings. Alternatively, you can perform this task for each user. Okay, I idiotically turned off my computer and I thought it was still recording and it stopped recording, so I was up here. I maybe spent the better part of the past 10 minutes though trying to install a package So I'll tell you what I've learned. Okay, it's like when it says launch your Trailhead playground by scrolling to the bottom and clicking launch. I just wish this whole section was broken up better, like clear headings. Continue, like, okay. So I'm just really frustrated. I'm not trying not to think about it too much. Okay, but basically, if it's so step one is launch your Trailhead playground. If you see a tab in your org labeled install a package, great. If not, you go to here and then you just follow the steps below. Which I'm not sure, are those these steps or are they these steps? And if not, and it sort of confuses me because then it's like if you don't. So the whole thing is just okay, but basically here's what I got from it. If you have the ability to install a package from one of these tabs, then you do that. And what you would then do is just enter in this as the package that you're installing. If you don't have this tab that says install a package someplace, I don't have it, so I don't know what it looks like. But if you don't have it, then you gotta go to this link, but just open it in an incognito window. That way you don't accidentally have some different session going in. And by the way, if you're opening in that incognito window, make sure you know your username and your password. And usually it's best just to like copy and paste your username because your username. Okay, when your app is finished, so skipping along, so once it's installed, you'll see a confirmation page and get an email to the address associated with your playground. Let me check for that. Yep, so there's my email saying that was some components such as custom objects, custom report types, and workflow rules must be activated using the package deploy process before they're available to your organization. Great. Okay. When you open a browser, click here to start the installation. When your app is finished installing, you'll see a confirmation page. Okay, got that. Follow these steps to install the package. Open a browser and click here to install. Seriously? Okay. Click install, select external orders app. Okay, I mean, I already went through this process, so I don't know how to get back here. Select the external orders app. So I like. I like, what does this mean? When your app is finished installing, you'll see a confirmation page. I just saw it. You just saw it. I got that email. And now it says, follow the steps to install the package. It's installed. Click here to install the... This makes no sense. Connect it and just moving on. I have no idea what I was supposed to do here. If it seemed, I mean, I got my email, so like I'm done, right? But no, I did install for Amazon. I did select the external orders app. No, I didn't see that option. Maybe I went too fast. So it's terrible. It was terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Connect an external data source. As an exercise, let's connect an existing OData 2.0 data source that's publicly accessible. From setup, enter external data sources in the quick find box. Click a new external data source, enter order DB as a label. As you click or tap away from the field, the name K, and select Salesforce Connect OData 2.0 as the type. Enter this as the URL. Okay, this is a sample read-only database. No authentication is required. A real external system would likely require some credentials. You can configure Salesforce Connect to use the same set of credentials for all access to the data source or separate credentials for each user. Now that you can configure an external data source, you can select the tables you wish to integrate into your Salesforce org. From Setup, enter external data sources in the quick find box, and select external data sources, and then click the order DB external data source. Validate and sync. Order details and orders. And for some reason, maybe I'm able to do this. Click sync. Syncing creates the external objects corresponding to the tables you selected. Syncing does not store any data in Salesforce. Syncing only defines mappings to external tables or repositories that contain the data. These mappings enable Salesforce to access and search the external data. I just clicked buttons. You can choose to manually create external objects. I'm using my hands now. This is manual. Doing so enables you to customize the external object names. Like if I was using a voice command, would that be orally doing it? I'll stop there. Decide which table columns to create custom fields for and customize the custom field names. From Setup, enter external objects in the custom quick find box and look at find view external data. After you connect the external data source and define the external objects, you can view the external data directly in your Salesforce org. From Setup, enter external data sources in the quick find box and click that. Click order DB as the external data source. Scroll down and click orders. It's at the bottom of the page. You may not see it. _X. Salesforce Connect's sync process created this external object from the external system schema. If you're familiar with custom objects, you notice the external objects look similar. The sync process also created a set as custom fields just as you create them for a custom object. The key difference between external objects and custom object definitions are external object API names have the custom suffix X rather than C. It's sort of cool that I caught that on my own. External objects have a reference to the external data source and a table within that source. External objects have different standard fields. Display URL is the OData 2.0 URL core representing a record in the external database, while external ID is the primary key value for each record. Let's create a custom tab to easily access the order records. From Setup, enter tabs in the quick find box, then select tabs, then select new. Select orders as the object. Click selector next to 10, choose whatever style you like. That's the hard part. Click next. Click next. Click the checkbox to include, tab to deselect all that. Click next to accept the default visibility settings. So the bottom of the page. Click the checkbox next to include, tab to deselect all the apps. Tab. I feel like I messed up here. You can now view the external order data as if it was stored in the custom objects in your Salesforce org. If the app menu top right is not already showing external orders, you can click the app menu and select it. Click the orders tab, click the go button. Salesforce Connect to retrieve order IDs for the first 25 records. I don't understand. Never duplicating Salesforce org. Salesforce Connect always fetches current data from the system in real time. Now that you can see external data in your org, you can also link it to existing data by creating lookup relationships. You'll see I do that in a later unit. That'll be the next unit. There's only one more. The sample data we used in this unit do not require authentication, however, a real external system. You have two options, a name principal, per user, fine. Great. All right, let's try this. I give myself like a 1 in 300 chance of getting this. Okay, so if you try to create a data 2.0 external data source and the right, this step right here, and you did the exercise above, you're going to get this warning which says your organization has exceeded the maximum number of external data sources of this type. Purchase another Salesforce Connect add-on or delete an external data source from one of the following types: Salesforce Connect OData 2.0, Salesforce Connect OData 4.0, Salesforce Connect Custom. So yeah, basically now I've got to go back here and click delete, which is frustrating to me because I did these exercise. So now I can't delete it. So I have to delete this object. Yeah. Like, don't give me an assignment or warn me. Like, hey, if you do this exercise with us as we're talking it through, then guess what? You're gonna have to delete it before you need to do the hands-on challenge. So they warned me. Because deleting it's so simple. There, it only took 300 clicks. Okay, so basically what this involved was creating an external data source, giving it a name, giving it a URL, making sure these were the settings for it. And then it involved, there's basically two data sources. There's a phones table. So, and what you had to do is you had to validate and sync the phone table and then change the resulting object to phone plan. And then you do the same thing for the phones table. You first had to validate and sync it and then change the resulting object name to phone, so the API becomes this. This is the one thing I'm not clear on. Make sure that you don't change the table name field in either external object. So basically, here's the data source all the way at the bottom here. Which, let me just make this so you can see it. So all the way at the bottom here, then basically, I first clicked validate, and then clicked run query, which ran all of these queries. And then and then went back to here and clicked edit, and then changed the name to phone plan. I don't see the table name, but whatever. Did the same thing for the phone object, validated it, ran the queries, got the queries, and then went back over to this guy, clicked edit, brought up this page, renamed it. And I just don't know what the table name field is in either external object. So maybe I changed that. We'll find out here in a second. That was gross, sorry. Whew, that was rough. Thanks for watching.